Hello, happy week 5. So this week we're going to keep solving, but we're going to do some solving with stuff like quadratics and radicals. So this week we're going to take a look at quadratic equations, where quadratic just means that you have a term where the variable is squared, and that would be the biggest exponent. So one thing about quadratics is that they always have two answers. But in this case, we're just gonna use a very simple method for solving these. If quadratics have like a b squared and a b, you have to use more complicated things like factoring or quadratic formula. But we're just gonna stick with just the regular old solving for right now. So, just like you do with a regular linear equation, you're trying to get the variable by itself. So I'm gonna do reverse order of operations. Basically meaning I'm going to start with the numbers further away from my variable. So I'm going to add 8 to both sides. So I get 3b squared equals 300, because these cancel out, that comes down, and those add together. So remember, same thing when I have a coefficient or a number that is in front of my variable with nothing in between it, that's multiplication. So to get rid of it, I divide. So my 3's will cancel out, and I will get b squared equals 100. So now I'm left with b squared. So we got to figure out a way to undo a square. So the only way to undo squared is to square root. So that's this symbol. It's called a radical symbol. And the radicals are there to undo exponents. So the radical and the squared cancel each other out. So in this case, I just have a b. And the square root of 100 is going to be 10. But just like I said earlier, we have two answers. So if b squared equals 100, b could be 10, but b could also be negative 10, because negative times a negative gives you a positive. So anytime you solve a quadratic by taking a square root, you have to have both the positive and the negative answer. Okay, so I'll do one more. Just like with equations we've done a million times, you're going to subtract 3 on both sides. So these cancel. 4r squared comes down, and 103 minus 3 is 100. Okay, so then I'm going to divide by 4. So these cancel. R squared comes down, and 100 divided by 4 is 25. So now that I've got my r squared, I'm going to square root. And the square root of 25 is 5. But because it's a quadratic that we're solving, we also have to include the negative 5. So I'm going to have two answers for both of these. If you all have any questions about the work this week, feel free to email me, come to the Google Meet, whatever. Hope everybody's doing well.